Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. I have a burning question I want to ask you. Are you all watching this? I don't know, everybody's talking about this docuseries. The media is all talking about it. It's all over the media. And it is apparently very divisive. And people fall in either one camp or the other. So I thought we'd have just a little bit of fun. And I would do something that I don't normally do on my channel. And we're going to play with a spread. Now, a little bit ago, I had filmed a video of a major half-price book haul that I had, and if I can figure out which video that is, I will link it up in the cards above. But I found this book for a very economical price at Half Price Books. It is 1001 Tarot Spreads by Cassandra Eason, and she's also the author of 1001 Spells. So let me know if you have either one of these books. I had forgotten I had this book and I needed a particular spread, and then light bulb went off and I got it out and I'm going, oh my gosh, there's everything. There's a spread for just about anything you could think of, all in this one book. I know you can go to the online and find some spreads, or Instagram and maybe even YouTube, but I like everything all in one book. It's so convenient. So I thought that I would pick a spread in this book that would kind of correlate to what's going on with the royal family. Maybe we'll find some insights with the cards regarding the two factions, the one in the UK, the official royals, and then the other breakoff faction that's living in California. So just a quick look-see of this book. I'm just going to show you the table of contents here. So you've got 1, 3, up to 9 card spreads, and then you have, it goes into topics. For instance, chapter 15 is career spreads, then you have business spreads, then the next chapter is spreads for fame and fortune. You have moon zodiac spreads, moon angel spreads. I mean, it's all in here. Okay, so I have a marker here, and I found a spread that I thought, well, let me put the marker back, that would fit, because it is in chapter 19, which has to do with family spreads. So here it says lucky cards for family spreads. So for major cards, if you pull the Empress, the Emperor, Strength, Temperance, the Sun, the Moon are considered lucky cards for family spreads. And the minors, if the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, 4 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 6 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. And then it seems like all of the courts are considered lucky. And then there's a little information about the family spreads. 1 and 2 carders to answer straightforward questions. 3 cards for celebrations and the growth of family happiness, also for additions to the family. 4 cards for security and stability, 5s for communication between members and generations, and then 6 carders for family love and mending quarrels. Spreads with 9+ cards or more for complex questions and resolving difficulties. So I think I picked out a 6-card spread, and if you like this, maybe we could go to a 9-card spread in another video for resolving difficulties. But right now we're going to pick a 6-card spread for family love and mending quarrels. Okay, so I already picked one. And this is spread 277, when one member of the family always causes trouble among the others. So I think we'll kind of use Harry and Meghan as one or the two, because they kind of come as a pair, you know. The difficulties are all from their problems that they as a couple are experiencing with the royal family. So they're going to be, since they're more of the offshoots, and then we have the, you know, the main faction of the royal family. Okay, so Harry and Meghan are going to be considered the quarrelsome, troublesome pair. All right, don't get mad at me. It's just the easiest way to do it if you are Harry and Meghan fans. And I think it's easiest to do it this way because they are the ones who left the institution because they had problems with it. Okay, so there's 6 card positions. The first card position is, has this trouble always existed? Has the troublemaker recently suffered a trauma or setback? Card 2, does the troublemaker target a particular certain family member or members, or is he just generally unpleasant? Card 3 is, what triggers potentially confrontational situations? Card 4 is, can any family member positively influence the troublemaker or troublemakers? Card 5 is, do any family members make the situation worse, either deliberately or unconsciously? And card 6, should the troublemaker be warned and, if necessary, excluded from certain events for the sake of family harmony? I think that last position is what got me, because we do have the coronation of King Charles III coming up in May, I believe. So with the release of this Netflix series and everything that's going on, is that gonna, you know, hold weight with, you know, whether or not they're going to get an invitation or not, or what's revealed in the docuseries? Because 3 episodes have aired, and I believe there are 3 more that are going to air probably by the time I have this video uploaded. So who knows what other revelations are gonna come forth. So directions for this spread, it's telling me that I should use the 40 minor cards, aces to tens, and the 16 court cards. So no majors. All right. And when, it even tells you when you should use it. And this says towards the end of a waning moon. And well, it's not towards the end of a waning moon right now. So, so we'll just kind of sideline that, because this isn't a real reading. This is just for fun. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side, and I went in my tarot collection / library trying to pick the deck that would, I don't know, have the appropriate energy for this type of reading or for the people involved. And I thought either one of these would work. The Influence of Angels Tarot and the Touchstone Tarot. And these are both mass market decks, easily available on Amazon or wherever, you know, you can go into a shop and get your decks. The Touchstone Tarot would be a really good one because of the old artwork, and also there are depictions of actual royalty here. I think Jane Seymour, the third wife of King Henry VIII, who died in childbirth. I think King Henry VIII is in here, and also possibly his daughter Mary. And there's some other royalty in here from other countries. And then I decided on the Influence of Angels because there's even older artwork in here. And, you know, the monarchy is like, it's a very old institution, 1,000 years, maybe more. I don't know. So which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Both would be great, but I think I'm going to go with the Influence of Angels because because the Touchstone Tarot is a little bit wider and we need to get 6 cards on here, and I want to make sure that I can get it all in frame. But either one of these would be great. Definitely the Touchstone Tarot is very beautiful, but I think I'm going to go with the Influence of Angels. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is I have to take out the majors, so I'm going to do that right now and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get to it. And if you're not familiar with this deck, you can see how really beautiful it is. I haven't done an unboxing for this deck or a walkthrough because, you know, it's a mass market deck. I think there's probably a lot of unboxings. It's been out for a while, but just to show you, for those of you who are maybe new to my channel or new to tarot and are looking for decks, and you like decks, collage decks, or decks with old art, this is a really, really beautiful one. It's got glossy cardstock, but it's not sticky, and it does have the metallic gold edges, and it's a really beautiful deck. All right, so we're going to get into it. I'm going to give these cards a good shuffle, and I may speed the shuffling part up so you're not bored, so we can just get to the meat and potatoes of this video. Okay, I think I have everything in frame. I think you'll be able to see the cards fine. So the background and purpose of this spread, so the information and purpose for this spread is when an otherwise happy family atmosphere is marred by one person's troublemaking. So again, I'm gonna kind of put Harry and Meghan as the so-called troublemakers because they are kind of a thorn in the side of the mainstream royals. Again, okay, I'm not going to be cruel or anything. I know it's a very divisive subject for some, and some people don't give a crap. It depends if you follow the royal family and whatnot. Though if you are a viewer and you're in the UK, it could mean a lot more to you. So I'm just doing this reading as my perception as an American. Though I will say that I have been following the royal family since I was very, very young because my mother always had a fascination with the royal family, and she often told the story of, well, my mother's from rural Mexico, and she remembers fondly the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II back in the 50s, and my mom was a young child, and she happened to be in a place in Mexico that had one of the few TVs around, and she was able to watch most of the coronation, you know, back then with the rabbit ears, and sometimes it would pop in and out, but and And when she would go to the market, she would always buy the tabloids. She was enthralled with Princess Diana. So I would read those articles. And then when I got older, my love for reading British history, and Britlit. So yeah, I do follow the royals, and it's kind of the only avenue of celebrity that I kind of do follow. I don't follow really movie stars. There's like a couple of British actors that I like to follow their Instagrams and things, but I'm not really into celebrity culture, but I do follow the royals. Okay. And that's just my background information. Oh, also to add, I don't know any of these people. This is just for fun. I never sat across from any of them to judge them, to have a conversation with them. So this is purely, we're picking them as subjects for this reading because they are public figures, and we are playing with a spread in this book. We have position 1. The cards are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so a reminder, card 1. Has this trouble always existed? Has the troublemaker recently suffered a trauma or setback? All right, so we're going to turn this over. Interesting. We have the Page of Wands. Isn't it a lovely Page of Wands? Without knowing the astrological signs of Harry or Meghan, I could say that this could represent either one of them. The Page of Wands, Prince Harry was always, before his marriage to Meghan, was always, and actually up until the point where he left the royal family, was a great favorite in the public, in the British public, being viewed as that cheeky, chappy prince. I think his polling and his numbers were right up there, just under Queen Elizabeth II. So I think I'm right. And if you're in the UK, you can correct me. But I think up until he left the royal family, moved to California, he was viewed very favorably by the British public. Now, has the trouble always existed? Well, we're going to see, because it seems from the feeling I got from the docuseries is that he's had some deep-seated resentment. A lot of it stemming from, the early death of his mother, but also I think from being the second son. And that's very evident because his new book that's coming out in a couple of months is called Spare. And that's very, very telling, because in the royal circles, when the royal couple had children, you had the heir and the spare. This could also be a placeholder for Meghan Markle. Page of Wands, she's a very, very dynamic, charismatic woman. An outsider, being an American and not even living, royalty is kind of like the farthest thing from Americans. We look at it, we kind of admire it for, its grandeur. Nobody does pageantry like the British, but this could reflect her because she was an outsider marrying into this old and ancient institution. So there was a lot that she was going to have to learn. So I would say this card would reflect both of them. Because of Harry's problems maybe with being the spare, and Meghan with her being an outsider, having to learn so much and having to learn how to navigate in this 1,000-year-old ancient institution. Okay, let's go to card. So there's troubles from both of them. Deep resentment on Harry's part, and the fact that Meghan is new. So has the trouble always existed? Yes, maybe simmering a little bit on Harry's part. Uh, no to Meghan because she's the newcomer to the institution. Okay, card 2. Does the troublemaker target a particular certain family member or members, or is he, she just generally unpleasant? Oh, the 3 of Swords. I would have to say that the two of them are not generally unpleasant people. But when they get together, they have caused, obviously, some unpleasantness. They've been rocking the boat. So they've been causing some heartache as a pair, to the British royal family, mostly to the higher ups, but it has a trickle-down effect, and some people are left perplexed, and it's just this kind of open wound, that's being, I don't know, there's with every interview with the docuseries, it's like a growing wound, rubbing more salt into the wound, and it's perplexing to them, right? Whether they're totally self-aware, some members being a little bit more aware of their grievances, but the two of them together have undoubtedly caused some unpleasantness and some deep hurt, because they thought things were going one way, or a perception of things, and Meghan and Harry have their perceptions. So yeah, trouble in paradise. All right, going on to card 3. What triggers potentially confrontational situations? Haha, we've got the 5 of Wands. I think it's a couple of things. I think there was some healthy competition with Harry and William. I think in some ways William was always a little bit maybe on a lower level, sometimes maybe a little envious of Harry's freedom and the fact that he was so well loved, that he has the freedom to explore. He didn't have so much on his shoulders being the second son. So maybe William could have been, just a little bit envious, because Harry did have a lot of freedom to chart his own path, being the second son. Whereas William has to be aware, a lot more aware of, dotting all the I's, crossing the T's, because he is going to be the future monarch. But then on Harry's side, I think obviously the competition is with his older brother, because his older brother was always going to be number one, not in his parents' or his family's hearts, but there was a certain amount of training or deference that was going to be played to William just because of his rank in this institution. And the second, heir, always had to play this. The person playing second fiddle, it's hard. You see it with the second son syndrome with, obviously, Prince Andrew, hello. But the Queen's sister, Princess Margaret, had to deal with a lot, and she had a lot of resentment being the second daughter, knowing that all the attention was going to be played and the deference was going to be paid to her older, shyer sister. Whereas I think Margaret would have thrived in role of queen, and she would have been the queen. I mean, she was a queen. But being more gregarious, a little bit more outgoing than her shy sister, I think, you know, in depending on who you read, she felt that, she would have played the role of queen better. Who's to say? Also, depending on who you read, who you watch, what camp you fall on, there could be competitiveness between the two duchesses, uh, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, and the Duchess of Cambridge. Uh, and also, we'll add the now Queen Consort Camilla when she was the Duchess of Cornwall, because all three of them at one point before Queen Elizabeth passed, they were all kind of on equal footing as far as their titles. They were all three duchesses, but now with the passing of the Queen, obviously Camilla's been elevated to Queen Consort, and Catherine is now Princess of Wales. So she now holds the title of William and Harry's mother, the Princess of Wales. And I think that's a title that, depending who you read, that Meghan would have liked for herself, because with that title, again, more deference is played. Meghan is, I don't know how she feels. I get the feeling that she's not one who would really like curtsying to Catherine, as they are contemporaries in the fact that they're both commoners, that they're both around the same age. So Meghan is very, very ambitious. Obviously, you have to be ambitious to garner any sort of success in Hollywood and in the entertainment business. So yeah, there could, I think there's some competition on all fronts, a little bit of enviousness on all sides. So yeah, that is the cause of the contention, I think. The fact that Harry and Meghan, Harry and Meghan are, they're always going to be number two within the royal family, just because basically birth rank. And yeah, I can see, being a human, how it could affect Harry, a little bit of sour grapes. I don't really see as much why it should bother Meghan, because, she's an outsider. She's an American marrying into this family, and just the fact that she's marrying into the family gives her more elevated status than she ever would have had she just stayed in America and never married Prince Harry. But again, there's that, she's ambitious, she's charismatic. So there could be that competitiveness with Catherine, the new Princess of Wales. Okay, we are going on to card 4. Card 4. We have the Queen of Cups. Okay, without knowing either of their astrological signs, I think the Queen of Cups could be either Camilla, the Queen Consort, or Catherine, the Princess of Wales. We've seen for both women that they have very empathetic sides to them. Recently, the Queen Consort held her yearly lunch brunch with kids with terminal illnesses at Clarence House. It's something that she's always had pretty much since she married Prince Charles, except for, the time of the lockdowns. She seems, with her causes, you can see she's an empathetic soul. Also Catherine, with her causes for early childhood education, that's a passion of hers. But I'm going to say this, as far as, healing a rift within the family, it would be more maybe to Catherine, as far as being able to communicate with Harry and may be able to reach Harry, because Harry, William, and Catherine were all very, very, very close before Meghan Markle came into the picture. They headed causes together, the cause for mental health, which was, I think, Heads Together. Yeah, which they championed and talked about. There's a little, I think you can find it on YouTube where they're talking about mental health. So there was that. I think Harry has referred to Catherine as the sister that he never had or would have liked to have had, you know. There's lots of footage of them together mucking about while William's doing something. They're laughing, they're joking, and you can see that there's a very warm rapport and relationship between the two. And also, before things have gotten really, really bad, even after the Oprah interview, Prince Harry flew back to the UK without Meghan for his grandfather, Prince Philip's funeral. And you saw Catherine kind of navigating her way in between the two brothers, talking to Harry. You know, you could tell from the warm expression in her face, you know, from the footage, that she was really happy to talk to Harry. Whereas, you know, William is smarting from the Oprah interview, and I'm sure Catherine was too, but Catherine was able to put that aside and, you know, be someone to talk to Harry, whereas, you know, some of the other family members were keeping a wide berth. But since the Oprah interview, if that wasn't bad enough for the royals, there have been other interviews and programs that Harry has shown up on. Meghan's done a couple of interviews for the Cut magazine and Variety. And you saw there was frostiness with Catherine in that walkabout after the Queen's death. So Catherine now is smarting from certain accusations, revelations, and you saw that she couldn't really at that point be as warm and fuzzy to Harry as she was at Prince Philip's funeral. And then, you know, the Queen had just died and she was very close with the Queen, so yeah, she wasn't in the mental space to reach out. But with time passing, perhaps she will be the one to bridge the gap between the two brothers, because by all accounts, it's not good. It really, really isn't good. But perhaps she will be the one to be able to bridge the gap, hopefully at some point in the future, when feelings aren't so high, you know, emotions aren't so high. Okay, now we're going to card 5. Do any family members make the situation worse, either deliberately or unconsciously? Ooh. So we have the King of Pentacles here, and I can say this would either represent Charles or William. I say it will represent William in the future, because he is going to hold all the purse strings in the future, who gets what. But right now it's King Charles. So Charles for right now, and King William, Prince William in the future. I think there's some resentment with Harry that maybe he's not being compensated financially as he thinks he should. And also there's the whole thing about the security, and I believe Harry is suing the British government. He wants to get his IPP, internationally protected person status, reinstated. So he has a lawsuit with the British government to get that reinstated, which means that the British taxpayers would have to pay his security. Now, he was warned when he left the British family by the Queen that that was going to go. That was totally going to go if he left, and he would have to fend for his own security, especially overseas. Giving Harry the IPP status really isn't up to Charles. It's, you know, something that has to do with the government and Parliament, but in some ways he's using Charles as a scapegoat, somebody to blame it on. Also, it has been reported allegedly that Prince Charles has stopped taking Harry's calls because the calls were about money, and that he would call, while the Queen was still alive, he would call the Queen, and she would ask Charles, why have you stopped taking his calls? And Charles has reportedly said, I'm not a bank. So all the calls were about money. In that Oprah interview, Harry said that he was cut off by his family. But, okay, this is something. Harry had between $20 and $30 million, which he inherited from his mother, Princess Diana. And also, not being an actual working royal, you're not going to be paid anymore because you're not representing the government. You're not doing those charitable works on behalf of the British government. So yeah, you're not going to be paid. You're not going to, the British taxpayer shouldn't shoulder your upkeep. And I think he resents Charles for not doling out more than he has. Now, it is reported that Charles did help them, Meghan and Harry, set up their new life and purchase that Montecito mansion, get them set up for their new life in California. But, you know, there comes a time where, you know, you've got to cut the purse strings. And I think Harry is a little bit also resentful with now William's new elevated status of Prince of Wales. You know, Prince William has a lot more than he did, you know, with the Duchy of Cornwall and whatnot. So there's some resentment there. And Harry did say in the Oprah interview the reason why they had to take the Spotify and the Netflix deals was because he was cut off from his family and had to earn a living. Welcome to the real world. Right here, you know, I have to go with the royal family. You chose to leave. You chose to leave. The monarchy, nobody in the royal family, nobody has a 1 foot in, 1 foot out where they can monetize their titles and make money off of their royal status. Nobody can. It is reported that Meghan, and this is in one of the books that have come out recently, you know, she often cites Prince Andrew's daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice, as them being able to earn their own livings. Yes, they have actual real jobs, but the British government and taxpayers do not pay for them. There's no money going towards their upkeep. They have no security that's paid for by the British taxpayer because they are not full-time royals. They do show up to events and sometimes a charity thing that they want to champion once in a while. They are protected by security, but only when they're at a gathering or event where the whole royal family is at and when they are with the monarch. And in the past it was the Queen, and now it'll be Prince Charles, and they only have security then, but not really in their everyday lives unless they pay for it themselves. So long story short, this is Charles, I believe. Okay, last and not least, we're at card 6. Should the troublemaker be warned and, if necessary, excluded from certain events for the sake of family harmony? What do we have? Woo! We got the Seven of Swords. The next big family event, obviously, is going to be the coronation of King Charles III. And I say this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If they are extended an invitation, there's a lot of people in the British public who will not be happy. And let me know again, if you are a Brit, how you feel about the situation of them being invited. Because it tends to be when they are invited, and this is borne out to be true, because of everything that's happened, they are the focus of attention. When they were invited for the Queen's Jubilee over the summer, the attention was on them. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? And then again, with the Queen's funeral, again, all attention, the cameras were on them, and the media, being the media, put way too much focus on them. But it's just because of the rift, the thing about the Harry wearing a uniform to this and not wearing a uniform to that, and blah 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 blah. It did kind of take away, I think, from the focus, and that's one thing that the royal family doesn't want to happen with King Charles' coronation. All the focus going to Meghan and Harry. I did think it was kind of funny, though, during the footage of the funeral, when they were sitting, Harry and Meghan were sitting right behind King Charles. There was kind of a candle that was blocking Meghan a little bit. So I don't know, they could invite them and maybe seat them in a place that's not so visible for the cameras. I think they could be invited if the media, I know the British media, if the lot of them would say, we're not going to focus our cameras on them. We're not going to do news reports or stories about them in particular, without maybe just, a slight mention in passing that they were there. If they could do that, if there could be a so-called gentleman or media's agreement that they do that, they could be invited. But the media, there's going to be media from all over the world, so that can extend to the American media and everybody else who's going to be there. So I think that would be a very hard thing to do. But if deals like that could be struck out to where Meghan and Harry weren't the focus, that all cameras weren't on them, that they could be invited as family members. Or maybe if they were seated in a not so prominent part of the Abbey. I think it's going to happen in Westminster Abbey. Anyway, and again, it's a no-win situation if they are not invited because, the uproar, the royal family hates Meghan and Harry, and even though they were invited to all these other events, family events, but it's just because they take too much attention away. And in the meantime, they keep, it seems like every week there's a podcast or an interview or a series that comes up where they are talking about their unhappiness about the royal family and their experience with it. So, why would they even want to go to a coronation, which is the epitome of the institution? So, there's that. But I think it's a no-win situation. Unless there can be an agreement with the media that there is no real focus, pictures, stories that are going to be about them if they attend the coronation. Unless that could be arranged, which you can't really do, I would say that they should probably not be invited. They wouldn't be grateful for it. The way things are going, it seems like it would be, more ammunition to fuel the fire for future content, because now they do need to make money. So as far as I think there's not many pros, but I think there's more pros to the royal family not inviting Meghan and Harry to the coronation. But let me know what you think. And take a look at the cards here, and you heard the questions and the positions for each card. Let me know your take. Who do you think this Queen of Cups represents in the royal family? Who could be the peacekeeper, peacemaker to heal this rift? Is the King of Pentacles Charles or William, or could it be the whole British government or represent the whole institution on the whole? And especially with this one, yeah, let me know below if you think they should attend or be invited to the coronation. I say no. But again, it's damned if they do, damned if they don't. You know, yeah, let me know in the comments below. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I hope this video doesn't turn out to be so long. This book is Spread Disneyland, chock full of wonderful spreads. And let me know if you would like to see another video and another spread used, maybe following this family saga as it unfolds. It's, you know, unfortunately, family dramas, you know, very, very sad. But when they're played out in the public, unfortunately, sometimes it's, yeah, grab your popcorn, whether you like watching the Kardashians or the royal family, you know, kind of makes us forget our problems in our own families a little bit. You know, families can't live with them, can't live without them. Whichever way you look at it, they can be a blessing and a curse. So just a reminder, if you enjoyed the video, to please hit a like, a subscribe, leave a comment below of your interpretations of the cards. What do you think about the whole thing? If I got any of the information about the royals, you know, factual information wrong, let me know that too. You know, I'm not claiming to be an expert by any means, just, you know, someone who follows, you know, that side of the news a little bit. And with that, I will leave you to get on with your beautiful day. Bye for now.